very warm welcome to the Benjamin Britten Theatre at the RCM, very much the home of the vocal faculty at International Opera School. Can I first start by thanking the Leach Trust for their generosity in supporting the Masterclass today, and also to the performers for their work in advance in a demanding situation. We've been very fortunate to have some incredible artists visiting us over the last couple of years. This year in particular, it's fair to say, it really has been an international series. But I can honestly say it gives me the greatest pleasure to welcome back Sir Thomas Allen to the Britten Theatre. You've been away too long and we're very conscious of it, but I can say absolutely we're thrilled to have you back. So welcome and thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Nick. No pressure there, then. It's lovely to be in this theatre. Of course, when I was a student at the Royal College, it didn't exist. Like so many things at the Royal College, as a visitor, you come back here and you think, what on earth was here before? And I think there may have been a professor's canteen or something like that. There was a cricket nets over there on the other side, but it's just, the college is a bit like a Rubik cube that's constantly moving. You know, no sooner are you settled than you move on to the next red square, and then, not red square, but a square of some sort anyhow. Singing, oh, it's a funny business. I can say that now. It's sometimes a tragic business. It happens in theatres like this. It happens in theatres 10 times this size, and it happens in rooms a tenth of this size. Knowing how to inhabit vocally those various spaces is the skill required of a singer. How to communicate, as I'm trying to do now, with whomsoever might be sitting up there, though it's not easy to, yes there is, not easy to see. And then to take that to a smaller level, to a greater level, whatever it might be, is the skill a singer requires, or any performer that stands upon this little platform. And that will be part of, I suspect, what we deal with this afternoon. The thing that, and this comes as a result of, I don't know, is it grumpy old men? An awareness that what we do once we take up this position or somewhere akin to that is a strange thing. I asked a singer the other day in Durham. I was at the university doing a class with some young singers there. And I said, why do you sing? To a young man whom I think probably won't go on into singing, at least not for the moment. And he said, I just like singing. And I think I have to see that in everybody who's going to come out here this afternoon. There must be some kind of love for the piece, or even the telephone. One has to see that, and it just slightly concerns me as a grumpy old man that I know whoever comes here this afternoon is going to be concerned to produce lovely notes, I hope, in a stream of notes, and the words may get neglected. I don't know what to expect, but they may well get neglected. So balancing those things up and how we communicate is the big job that we have as singers. And then there's this person here as well, not to be forgotten, the collaborative accompanist, artist, whatever it is. There's a bizarre thing going on with language at the moment. As far as I'm concerned, that's an accompanist. And that's a proud title. But there are parts of the world that seem to be having problems with it and disuse, which is very strange. An accompanist does collaborate. I don't think it needs any further definition than that. There we are. So this relationship is important too. And I'm going to stop talking now and find out whether any of those things work. If we can have the first candidate, please. Tim, would you like to tell us what we're about to hear, even though we may have programmes?
We're going to start with Tired by Vaughan Williams. And it's from his 4 last songs, and it's a poem by his wife, or second wife, Ursula, capturing this moment that they shared together, where he was asleep in a chair, and she realised that was their closeness together was the most important thing to her.
I've never been in quite this situation before, I think, where we can really discuss the poet and the subject of the poem. Yeah. And that's rather a luxury, and a really rather lovely luxury, I think. I just walked along a corridor upstairs. I hope you've done so too, and you know the man we're talking about. Absolutely. So what did he look like?
Well, all the paintings you see him is quite an old man, sort of grey hair, slumped back in his seat.
Big man.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a big man, and that slump. And everyone, when I was a student here, my teacher did know him. I didn't, obviously, but I did know Ursula. And he was there, and he was a big, lovely uncle or grandfather-like presence. Now, Ursula was a much younger person that he obviously had a passion for, and they came together, and there was a joining of minds. So if you could imagine the situation of that fireside, a chair with him, and I've mentioned the grumpy old man. Well, grumpy old men also fall asleep of an afternoon, and they don't need big fires to do so. So she's making an observation about him and just looking at him with such care and love, but a love that is not just, it's not a physical love necessarily, it's just care and love for this human being that's there. What I'd love you to do in the song and with the poem is to find that and to use that just to be able to sit, when you will be able to. You can probably pick up a chair, take that chair and sit there and imagine him. I mean, you've got to be Ursula, admittedly, with a beard. And just sit there and take that painting that's upstairs, and those images you have of Ralph or Rafe, whichever he might be, depending whether it's the north-south divide, and look at him and just say those same things. And it doesn't have to be sad.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be tragic. It comes out with a glow. It's a reflected glow from the fire, but it's a fire and a glow, a gentle one that comes from inside you. That's what I want to see. Well done, Tim. Tim, can I ask you one thing?
Yes.
Sorry, I didn't mean Tim. I meant Ian. Ian, could you I've got before you go into that pochissimo animando, can you set it up just a little more, so that we ba-da-dee-dee-dee-dee-yada and lead us in, so that the phrase has already got a heartbeat in it somehow. It just felt a bit jarring as we went over the bar. Use a little more energy. Okay. As lovely as that sentiment is, I think you need to, as it were, feel activated to say something. And in so doing, I think we're aware of you having to construct ideas of sentences and phrases, and so that just needs a little more energy than you're giving it. You're giving the impression, I think, of being asleep yourself at the moment. Okay. Just slightly. That's not meant to be rude. It's just sleep. It's the observation. It's like just watching sleep. It's lovely to watch you sleeping, but the actual statements that you come out with are quite active in themselves.
And I'll be still as another sleeper.
That he asks for there, can you just cause the words to have that little more life in them now? So this, what is it? This sheltering midnight is our meeting place. This sheltering midnight is our meeting place. So that there's a little more text.
Okay. Yeah.
This sheltering midnight is our meeting place. No passion or despair or hope divide me from your side. I shall remember firelight.
Let's take this into a different mood as well. I mean, what we have to do, you go to the theatre very much?
Occasionally, yeah.
And films? So, I mean, who would your favourite actors be? Let's talk about actors and people.
Actors, Benedict Cumberbatch.
Right. Okay. Did I say everything I needed to say there? Okay. No, that's fine. It's just, there we are. But that just goes to show how much can be said in the way that we say things, in the intonation of something. But I think he marks pianissimo now. But I think it's a move away and a move to a different spot that you've been for that little animando section that we just went through. So you've been, this sheltering midnight is our meeting place. This sheltering midnight is our meeting place. Is this something that happens on a you know, a regular basis, that we find ourselves, it's time to go to bed, darling, the epilogue's happened, they've played the Queen on television, and it's time to go to bed. No passion or despair or hope divide me from your side. And then a reflective thing. I shall remember. So we need just those subtle little differences. The reason why I say, you know, do you have a favorite actor? My best singing teachers really have been the members of either the RSC or the National Theatre over several years now, and it's the use of language, that's all. It's just imagination and what we learn from that, and I think we have so much to gain and learn from that. It's imagination. It's seeing how one does that. There used to be a man on television years and years and years ago called Bransby Williams. And nobody will remember. Anybody remember Bransby Williams? No. Why do I remember? I'm not that old. Bransby Williams used to sit in a black and white chair, because everything was black and white in those days, and say, and put his brandy down and tell you a story about, and I was working with Charles Dickens. And it was a wonderful moment, and it was quite bizarre. That was the height of entertainment on television for the time. They hadn't invented Blue Peter by then. But people like Bransby Williams, but it is that thing of just being able to tell that tale and recall of that, you know, and that wonderful capturing of the language and the stories that were told. And I don't know, all of that fires my imagination when it comes to something of this period, because Rev. Vaughan Williams might well have remembered Bransby Williams, he might well have known him. He wasn't dissimilar to him as far as I can see. Let's find just a slightly different approach to where we go with I shall remember firelight on your sleeping face. What does she mean by that? She means, maybe is that an acknowledgement of the age difference between them? You know, that so that you won't always be with me. I'm reading this into it now. I'm aware at this moment that the fact that you're asleep and I'm still here reading Reader's Digest, that you are older than me, a lot older, and I'm going to lose you perhaps at some time in the near future. But I shall always remember the firelight on your sleeping face. This is a picture that she'll capture and always have with her. All of those things, you just need to be her, I think, and think of that. Can we just lead into that, Ian? Or hope divide me from your side, somewhere like that.
Oh, hope divide me from your side. I shall remember firelight on your sleeping face.
Can you do that again and just smile slightly? It's the comfort that it gives, you know. I shall remember firelight on your sleeping face. And sadness is beautiful when we see it with a smile on it.
Yeah.
You know, it's doubly, there's a double pathos somewhere there when you see that. We're going to get a lot of that through 2014. It's something we'll recognize a lot as the year goes by, I think. Just do the same thing, and then just have that warmth.
Oh, hope divide me from your side. I shall remember firelight on your sleeping face. I shall remember shadows growing deeper as the fire fell to ashes.
Tim, it gets low in the voice. Don't worry about it. Could you give me some different colour for deeper? And just make me wait for deeper a little longer. So that we have, I shall remember. It's as though, it's not that you're painting his features, but you know the way someone who doesn't have sight
Yeah.
will say, "Can I just remember your face?" And that sight will be gone in years, some years down the line, so that she can do that, and he's still there. She can remember, "I can remember your face in that firelight, and it was so lovely. That old whiskery side to it, and the glow of the fire in your face." That's what you're doing now.
Yeah.
And it would be lovely if we can just find a colour for deeper. I shall remember shadows growing deeper. Just, I don't know, just make us wait briefly for it. Shadows growing deeper. So it's the marks on the face and everything else, you know, just observe those and give them a little more time. I shall remember.
I shall remember shadows growing deeper as the fire fell to ashes and the minutes passed.
Lovely. I was talking just before we started about energy levels. I mean, there is no energy here. You know, there is that little bit of concern for him and interest in it. No, that's the only energy that one suspects and it detects. And it rises ever so slightly at that animando section and then takes away. So all of the time you're sort of aware, I'm giving a concert, keep the pulse down, keep the pulse down. It has to have that low level of delivery. Let's see if you can do it standing up now in the sort of conventional manner. But just remembering those things that you've gone through. It's useful always to, you know, if you're singing a song of this sort, don't always practice it standing by the piano.
Yeah.
Find, you know, produce a situation for yourself that may well be similar or that marries up with it. And you can learn a lot in that way.
Another sleeper, holding you in my arms, glad that you lie
Can I stop and just give you another idea?
Yeah.
It's very lovely. Can you think of him as a baby? So it's a cradle song.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be interesting actually if there was that. There's no reason why there shouldn't be that. You know, you can, even with a huge, great adult such as he was, you could still feel that sense of cuddling.
Yeah.
Which is basically what it is. You want to cuddle him. Everybody wanted to cuddle Vaughan Williams, I think, especially his wife. Don't know what the first wife would have said about that, but never mind. Please, yes.
sleep, and I'll be still as another sleeper, holding you in my arms. Glad that you lie so near at last.
And make sure you get through to the end of last rather than it dying on you.
Okay.
I think it's worth it. I mean, I say it all the time that the phrase doesn't end there. it goes on. Make sure that it's still living. But I think, glad that you lie so near at last. And hand over to Ian, so that we have that feel of it going on. Glad that you're licensed.
Glad that you lie so near at last. This sheltering midnight is our meeting place. No passion or despair or hope divide me from your side. I shall remember firelight on your sleeping face. I shall remember shadows growing deeper as the fire fell to ashes and the minutes passed.
That's lovely. Yeah, I wonder whether you might just make a little bit of it, or hope divide me from your side. There's real comfort in that. I have to admit, I've got real problem with he was despised and rejected. It's a real bête noire for me, and I wonder where I don't know why, but I just never learned that way. And the minutes passed. I slightly cringe at minutes past. Minute Maid was a product from America. Minute Maid. I don't know why, but you should explore where the minute might be better, so that you neutralize that particular syllable. And I think it's more beautiful, actually, rather than minutes. For me, I would go that way. I think, how are we doing? I think we've killed Ursula, stone dead. It's a lovely song. It's really lovely. I think we'll leave it there.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it shouldn't get deadly. It should, it's rather, it's a bit dirge-like at the moment. I think the thing to contain within you is that thought of that love that you can still sing slowly like that. We have that wonderful way of doing that with the English language, of making it sound as though there's been a catastrophe, rather than it being something out. This is sung in an adoring manner for someone that I really love, and it needs just to have the information of that kind on it, rather than it being slow and dull. You might look at the tempo just to move it on a little bit, but not if you can find that right colour.
No, the tempo marking is quite fast, the actual tempo marking.
We tried it at the metronome mark and it's pretty swift.
How swift? Go on, I haven't even looked. Can't remember.
And I'll be still as another sleeper, holding you in my arms.
Well, honestly, I don't know about you, but I'm not hurt by that. And it holds together a bit better, I think, really. It just means that she's not joining him in that slumberland, slumberland later, or whatever it might be. But I think it gains from that. Don't the mezzo-sopranos and baritones can access melancholy at the drop of a hat. And you're heading towards melancholy, and it shouldn't do that. You should stay away from that and just have that, you know, that warmth that comes through, more than going for that slower tempo. I think it gains from that. It may be somewhere between the two, but actually what you hit on there, I think, you know, you're still able to do the things that you need to do with the language. And I'm not put out by it. I think it works. I think the other one was a fraction on the slow side. We should start all over again now with. No, that was very good. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much.